Hi, my name's Jenna, and this is episode 5 of Tiny Home Freedom. I'm feeling a little tired. I started taking some new anti anxiety medication like 3 weeks ago, so I'm still kind of acclimating to it. But so there are some things I wanted to talk about. And one of the things is before I knew that the 15-minute time limit for YouTube was because my account hadn't been verified yet. um, I reserved a domain name, tinyhomefreedom.com. And so now it's like, I may not really have a use for it. Sometimes it might be helpful to put an article there that kind of more thoroughly explains something I talk about in the video. But one of the things that occurred to me, I guess like a few days ago, and I've been kind of processing it some, is while I'm in this process of finding patrons and donors to help with building my own tiny house on wheels, hopefully the resources and the networking would be created that could help other people with low income be able to have a tiny house on wheels of their own. So next month, when I have some more money, I'm probably going to reserve tinyhomefreedom.org in the hope that once I've completed this process of finding support for my own house on wheels, something could be put together to help other people with low income have a tiny house on wheels. And it might be the kind of thing where there could be like fundraising to create the money that would be given to someone in the tiny house community that already pre-builds tiny houses on wheels. So the organization would pay directly the person doing the construction, and then once the construction was finished, it would be given to the low income person or family that the house is going to be for. And so that's a way of making sure that the money is actually used for building a tiny house on wheels. So I don't know, it'd be great if it works out to start an organization like that. Because, well, some people manage to find all like mostly recycled materials to build their own tiny house for like $5,000. Um, but for a lot of people, even $5,000 is a huge amount of money. Like for me, it would take me years to save up $5,000. So, yeah, so I'm hoping that'll work out. And another thing is with these YouTube videos, there's an option of YouTube calls it monetizing the videos, where there'd be a commercial before you get to watch the actual video. And I refuse to do that. Regardless of any circumstances, I refuse to force people to have to watch a commercial just waiting for that countdown of 3 seconds to be able to click the skip ad button, you know. Like, I feel like the way that advertising works, it's very manipulative, and it just, people shouldn't have to be exposed to that. So I am never, ever, ever gonna have commercials before my video, which means I'm like bypassing a potential income source. But I just dislike commercials so much. Like, I haven't watched TV with commercials for like 12 years maybe. And I feel like I'm much better off for not being exposed to commercials. And when I'm watching something on YouTube, when the commercial does come up in the beginning, I'm just waiting for that countdown to end so I can push the button and not be exposed to all that crap. So, anyway, I need to do a little more research, but I might be able to use, it's called Patreon, as a way where viewers can be a patron of paying a certain amount of money for every YouTube video that's uploaded, or a certain amount of money every month for the videos that I'm putting online, which to me sounds really great. And then like when I contact Apple, if they're generous and send me equipment to use, I would do it kind of like how they do on PBS, where in the beginning there's like, you know, this program is brought to you in part by, and they list, you know, the like businesses, the companies that help. And then at the end is like, and viewers like you, which would be the Patreon part. So I need to do a little research. I had an appointment with a caseworker for the first time a couple days ago, and I learned that it's possible that that Medicare copay that would be like $300 to $900 a month that I really can't afford. Um, it's possible that if I'm working to earn money, that Medicaid might cover that medication expense. So that combination of Medicare plus Medicaid might make it possible for me to earn money right away instead of waiting 2 years. So once I finish the research, I'll let you know. Um, and oh, another thing too, there's a comment posted by I believe it's Shadow7, and he was talking about how he had experience of living in a 10-foot by 10-foot room, and it made me think about in terms of already having past experience that helps me know that I'm okay living in a small space is like, growing up as a child and a teenager, everything I owned was just in my bedroom. And, there was still the kitchen stuff and like the TV and everything was in the rest of the house or the apartment. But in terms of all of my personal possessions that I was using, they were all in like, a 12 by like 13 or 14-foot room or smaller, depending on, like, I lived in a lot of houses. I've lived in like 20 different houses since I was a kid. So it's kind of the house I'm in now. I've been in it for about 13 years, and that is the longest I've ever like resided in the same building. Before that, the longest was like 2 or 3 years, and some of them were only like 6 months, like various apartments and houses. But so I was used to moving around a lot. And with the house I have now, like periodically I rearrange all the furniture so it feels like something new. And I guess just because I'm, have that acclimation to living in a brand new space every 6 months to like year and a half. So it's kind of rearranging the furniture or painting the walls makes it feel different. And that's something like with a tiny house, they're usually designed to not be able to rearrange furniture. So that's something I hadn't really thought about yet, but I think I should be fine. It's just, something to acclimate to. And if I really feel like I need to change the scenery, maybe I could just move the tiny house to another piece of property. So even though the inside hasn't changed, what's seen outside the windows has changed. So that would feel like something totally new, or mostly new. Oh, and the other thing that really like kind of helped me be ready for a tiny house on wheels, when I was 16 and a half years old, I went to Mexico as an exchange student and was there for 11 months. And the only stuff I had with me was what would fit in 2 suitcases plus a carry-on. And that included clothing and everything. So for like 11 months, all I had was just what fit in that really small amount of space. And I felt perfectly fine. And also in college, my junior year of college, I studied for 2 semesters in Paris. So I was in Paris for 2 months altogether. And again, it was just, I only had with me what would fit in 2 suitcases and a carry-on. And that included, like, a lot of it was clothing. And then I had various art supplies, like oil paints and stuff like that. But so I've already had that experience of 2 years of living out of suitcases, and I didn't really have this experience of like, oh my God, I don't have enough stuff. But I also was like in a foreign country where there's like all these things to do outside of the house, like sightseeing and museums and all that stuff. So it's a little bit different than, like a permanent residence. But I do know that I am able to live quite simply. For me, the biggest thing that takes up space is the art supplies and books. And the cello also takes up quite a bit of space. But so it's, it's about finding that balance. But I already have that experience of living quite simply. So that definitely helps. And I guess that's all to talk about for now. But yeah, the Patreon thing could be really good. It's something that, sorry, I have dry mouth from my medication. My gums were getting dry. But like a couple years ago, I tried to start on Facebook a Facebook page that was going to be for music that I composed. And I ended up not pursuing it because of, and I was hoping to earn money from it, where people like would buy a song at a time. But then I realized, sorry, that was the Optimizer Pro thing again. I have to deal with that. But so I was hoping that, maybe I could earn some money through Facebook with the songs that I composed. But then the whole thing about the problem with the medication was why I didn't pursue it. So anyway, thank you, Shadow7, for letting me know about Patreon. And once I do a little more research, I might be letting you guys know about it and asking for people to be a sponsor in that way. It's a lot like how people support PBS, but you're supporting me. Hooray! And there's like the Tiny House on Wheels videos, and there'd be composing music. I started teaching myself a little bit. Blender is an open source software that's free. That's for doing computer animation, and I started teaching myself some of that, and I'm hoping to compose music and then create animated movies that's like the video for the song, things like that. And like I love just posting it for free where anyone could see it. Yeah, also it'd be really great to have financial support, and that's what Patreon allows. So I'll probably be setting that up soon. And yeah, so I guess that's it. Have a good day and peace.